Your social programming basically is an imprint. Instead of saying good or bad, it's basically which perception do you lean towards. If you lean towards a bad decision, then you end up with a bad perception. If you lean toward a good, then you end up with a good perception. This is all the social. And there's another where you interact without expecting either one. And then you wait for the perception of the world to come to you instead of your perception going to the world and interfering with the process of your path. If someone's socially bound, then they bring in these social programs to fortify who they are. If imprinting's not happening, then it stays on the level of your feeling, and you witness it, and then you reflect back through your voice, through how you speak. Instead of thinking what you're going to say, you know what you're going to say. There's a big difference. It's not a script. If somebody comes into the room and their chakras or their energy centers are spinning in a way which is disruptive, I'll feel that in my body. So that's my body consciousness. So you may be presented with a pressure in your body and you represent that pressure. If just say that I'm fully a socialized being, then I'll integrate with a social factor that comes into the room through the person and be totally unaware of the spinning factors that are in my energy field. So there's a big difference between body consciousness and social interaction. The voice that is incessantly inside your mind doesn't bubble up. It's just there. What bubbles up is the emotions, because your inner seer wants to speak. It wants to tell the truth, but it's been trained to be covert. So you don't want to be caught, you don't want to be embarrassed, you don't want to be put in a position that you're going to have to face your own emotions. So that's why it bubbles up. When I'm speaking, my heart doesn't think, it just says. Once you go to your mind, you lose your heart. And many people bring their mind into the heart space as their confusion. Then your mind and your heart are caught in the same dilemma. You do need your thoughts to plan what you're going to do. You make your plans, but once you make your plans or you teach somebody in your business to do what they need to do, it becomes a routine. So then it's easy to turn it off. Having creative realizations and putting your energy into what you really love is more powerful than thoughts. So when you just listen to your own voice as you speak, and you don't think about it, then there's only the truth of the moment, and then you begin to learn about the truth of your moments, instead of living the scripted moment which you're trying to organize to define yourself. There was a point in our childhood where we were forced not to be silent, not to be truthful, not to be absolutely forthcoming. And once that happened, then the child starts to speak to themselves and starts to mimic the program which is given to them, instead of you know how children are, they're very straightforward, tell you what they see. And then they're punished to the point where they don't want to tell you what they're seeing anymore, so they make a promise to themselves that they just don't want to see it anymore because it's too painful. Their truth is too painful, their heart is too painful. So then they go to the social program and everybody's happy about being programmed, and you get forced into a very, very strange corner that you can't get out of. Everything that you conceive of, you're connected to. It's a little bit funny to say that that's not part of you or part of me, because it is. Everybody underestimates themselves because you are part of everything. As soon as you connect your eyes to something, it begins to change on a very subtle level. It becomes you. Just because there's distance, air between us, you breathe the same air as me, your heart pumps the same blood. We are the birds that sing in the trees. We see them with our ears before we see them with our eyes. We are our environment, and our environment is us. You shift, so you begin to see. And when you begin to see, you realize that the construct in front of you is malleable. It's not as real as what it seems to be, because you get an overlay, and the overlay gives you information. And that's what it's all about. We're leaving ourselves so that we can become something other than ourselves. And when we realize that there's a image or images, holographic images, which have been denied us, once you see that, the information comes to you, then you've got no choice but to interpret it in the way that it's meant to be seen. There are many different ways of seeing. I see you when I feel you. I see you when I hear you speaking. I see you when I touch you. I see you when I taste the food you cook. I see you when your energy field has got something in it. I see your gestures. You observe everything with your energy field. So you don't have to look at it to observe it. Observation is done with all of our senses. When people come and visit me sometimes, I see the luminous bubble, and it's just clear like water. And if the person's intending to leave when they're coming, if they're giving me something, the bubble goes back in on itself, so it gives me the information, shows me exactly what they're going to do. This is just a very rough example. So I know the person's leaving, so I don't invite them inside, because I can see their energy bubble. But every time that I meet someone I don't see their energy bubble, I'll see something else. So you have to learn to wait. You have to forego the idea that you're going to know. And you can't really know anything if you decide you're going to know something, because then you've scripted yourself to actually see what you want to see instead of seeing what you're meant to see. And if you think it should be a certain way, then you'll just see the world the way it normally is. When you see it, it's different. And to do that, you have to be empty inside yourself. Everybody has the possibility to be quiet, to be fully engaged in something which you can't be engaged with. There's a contradiction. Everybody has this possibility. You just have to wake up to it, to realize it. And the way you realize it is when you switch yourself off. Someone will sit down, they'll be inactive, but they'll be thinking to themselves, they'll be feeling, they'll be planning, they'll be regretting, doing all these social things, plotting and planning, doing what they have to do. Then there's complete silence. So, you just gave an example. If everyone can hear that you just did a breath in and a breath out. This wasn't a silent breath. So if you breathe in and you breathe out silently, then you watch your breath go in and you witness your breath come out. So you command your eyes to go in quietly and go out quietly. So your senses are following something that can't be heard. So that's silent. So if you don't listen and you watch your breath, then your internal dialogue switches off. If you listen to the breath and you huff and puff and blow someone's house down, the pig will get cranky. If you listen to it, then it's just like having an internal dialogue. And yeah, so there's a shock to your body. That's pure silence. So you're laughing about something so ridiculous, and it's really funny. So that's just witnessing your body consciousness in terms of your silence. You can be silent and absolutely blissful at the same time. So then you're totally engaged in a level of feeling, and there's nothing else there. There's no thought but the joy of just being in the room. And can you feel it? What's in the air? Yeah. This is what we've all forgot. What's in the room at the moment. And your social self can't survive with this amount of silence in the room. We're changing, and we're changing really rapidly. And just take you back to your own experience. Your change is so rapid. The silence that you've experienced is so profound that you're actually saying, well, I don't want to lose this when I leave. You won't lose it. and you were wondering where was it before you got here. And that's the change that's going on. People are realizing, you crying. Yeah. You're remembering yourself, that's it. But he's crying because his application to life has been opposite to what he's realizing. So the seer inside cries. Not out of unhappiness, but because you're at the moment remembering yourself. And at the same time realizing that the way you lived has not really been who you really are. So when you discover yourself, it's quite often people cry. And that's what a naga is. You ask the question, what's a naga? To bring people to a threshold of silence so they can find themselves. Once you've found yourself, then your journey really begins. You don't have to be like I am. You have to be like you are. And your true power comes to the surface. And that's how you overcome your conundrums. For yourself. And you know without doubt, with absolute certainty, what can't be explained. And you begin to watch yourself. And as you watch yourself, you become aware of other people. And as you become aware of other people, you begin to be totally absorbed in what really needs to happen. When I look at you, I look into my heart at the same time. And as I look into my heart, I feel you while I see you. So you become me and I become you. You go back to the point where you feel vulnerable, and then you express yourself from that vulnerability by being of service to people and loving yourself through loving other people, and be silent and be non-violent. And then you honestly come to terms with your real self. Just imagine Jesus is on the cross. And he says, "Oh my God, why do you forsake me?" These words have separated you from your own identity. You identify with the power beyond you instead of the power within you. So these words are crucial to create separation and the idea that we're less than what we are and something else has ultimate control over our destiny, this is not true. We have ultimate control over our destiny. We are our hearts. The Aramaic language has a different understanding to the way it's been interpreted. And even when it was interpreted into Aramaic, how do you know that's what was said? Now, just say he was on the cross, and instead of saying, "Oh my God, why do you forsake me? Oh my Father," didn't he really say, "Oh my beloved, why do you forsake me?" When he said, "Oh my beloved, why do you forsake me?" he was saying, "Oh my heart of hearts, the heart of another crucifies me. Why does another heart harm me? My heart is in with you, and your heart is within me. My heart of hearts. Oh my beloved, why do you forsake me? Oh my heart, why do you injure me?" That's the truth. Then we become connected to the most profound union there is, our hearts, and what we do to each other. So when you crucify someone, or you crucified yourself, you understand that the heart of another is totally misunderstood, that you are inside of me and I am inside of you. And would you hurt yourself? Of course not. And that's why it's so very important to come to terms with our inevitability as human beings. The very last thing that we'll be looking for at the end of our life is our beloved, the heart that we have within another. If we can't find that heart, then we die alone. So we best live with the idea of our inevitability and cultivate this preciousness. The tools you've got now you'll take home with you. You'll develop your own inner silence by yourself. You'll develop your power in your body by yourself. I can't do that for you. I'll never take control of your person. You'll always be in command of that. This is your life. It's your life path. And no one should be in somebody else's life to the point that they direct their eyes to go where the person demands. This is not good. You've got to allow people to see what they need to see in their own circumstances. And maybe when they come back or they get absorbed in more silence, then the silence itself will make the person realize where their life path is going. I don't need to really tell you once you gather a certain amount of power. And if there's any confusing points, I'll give you the tool to see that. I don't keep the tool to make you dependent on me, because that's ripping you off from your own life path. That's criminal. That's why I'm not a guru. You take responsibility for your circumstances, and you can put your energy into that by taking responsibility and fully being empowered by what you do. Or you can take the power from the circumstance and not take full responsibility, not say what needs to be said, not care where you need to care. Be kind. Be understanding, and forget yourself and forget your own need to validate yourself. Then you'll discover that you've found something inside of other people that wants to reflect itself back in you. And when you get rid of the social drama, you can really begin to enjoy the people in your environment. If there's nothing really to put your heart to, then you watch what the circumstance brings you, and you view exactly what's going on, and you'll be directed whether it's appropriate to put your integrity there or to watch with your integrity intact. So it's you just watch the play in front of you, and either withdraw softly or participate appropriately. Either way, it's a participation. Watching something from your own integrity changes the event just through the observance of it. But if you watch that event without your integrity and you're fully programmed, then you don't have the same effect, because it feeds into it. If you expect something and the other person doesn't have this expectation, you're actually manipulating them on the level of energy to comply. And it's like a very subtle form of violence until everyone gets into a position where everyone's playing this game. And then you begin to learn about the people that are around you. And there'll be someone who'll give you without expectations, and there'll be someone who'll give to you with hidden expectations. And that's a form of violence, because it's not forthcoming. It's doing everybody harm. There is a point where you can't tell and be transparent to someone that you know is really going to hurt you. But the people who really matter, you can start to be forthcoming with until it spreads to the point that there'll be a mass of people going to maybe someone that can't deal with the truth. They have to deal with it because there'll be a collective energy saying, well, don't do this because it's really not right for all of us. And then you begin to process what you really need to do, what's fundamentally right for the real circumstances, and not for the agenda behind the circumstances that have been set up. If you're transparent, you have a battle, a real battle. If you're not transparent, then you have another battle. You can have a battle to reinforce your social self, and this is what everybody's doing, or you can have a battle to undo everything that's socially being programmed, so that you can live the moment that's right in front of you and express the truth, and have the strength and courage to express the truth. If everyone made the decision to be transparent, then the real battle would be at foot. The reality of what really needs to be done, what really needs to be achieved. They're both battles, but the one's spinning the wheels in terms of personal growth and personal realizations. mean, people can have personal growth and personal realizations in terms of manifesting something, but it's the manifestation of within that we really all need to have a close look at, so that we can begin to heal ourselves and the planet through our personal interactions. How can we go any other way? We've been doing it a little bit wrong. And this little bit wrong is having huge consequences. So you have to try and do it a little bit more right. And then your truth becomes apparent, and then there's less to say and more to do.